Welcome to Game Reviews with Amanda and Amanda. This episode, we'll be discussing Sagrada.
Sagrada is a puzzle game in which you are artisans competing to create the most beautiful stained glass windows.
And fun fact, this is based on a real cathedral that is in Barcelona, Spain.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the components.
All right, so this game comes with some really awesome, pretty pieces. These are your player boards. It's hard to see them on camera, but this whole part, this is not really that important, except it's very beautiful.
Just aesthetics. Just a really pretty game.
These are the little puzzles that you'll be working on. Mm-hmm. They're double-sided.
The window pattern cards.
And you put them in here. And that's your little player board for the game.
Yeah, so
you get to play different.
Add some variety. Each time you can play a different window pattern card. They have different difficulties.
This one's a level 5. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure I've never played with higher than a 3.
It goes all the way up to level 6. So
Definitely
if you are up for a challenge, there's definitely difficult and easy versions that you can play. Mm-hmm. What else do we have?
Comes with these beautiful cards and
tool cards.
These have different. When you're playing the game, it can get really bogged down in where you're able to play dice. So you can use these little favor tokens. They're like those little glass beads to change your dice placement. It gives you special rolls, and there are different ones that are out each game.
These are private objective cards, which can allow you to get points that are secret, so nobody else knows exactly how many points you have, based on whatever color dice you are assigned.
And you get points based on the pips and everyone has a different color. I don't think there are repeats. And then there are, was it 3 per game? Mm-hmm. Goals for each game. So you get score extra points based on placement of how the dice are sort of laid out, whether numerical or by color.
Mm-hmm. So these are the public objective cards. So like there are 3 in each game. So that also adds variety because you draw them out randomly. And then they are usually just having to do with the different colors of dice that you place in your window or the different shade that you place, which thematically is represented by the different number of pips on each die.
And then here are the dice.
So
they're
really pretty, bright colors.
They look like little pieces of glass.
Mm-hmm. So they fit perfectly within your window panes.
So when it all comes together, you have a really pretty, visually appealing game board at the end, and everyone can kind of look around and see what other people have created.
Mm-hmm. So what are the pros of this game? What are your favorite things about it?
It's beautiful. It's really fun to look at. It really makes you think. Mm-hmm. It's easy to teach, but I feel like you really have to think hard about your strategy. Mm-hmm. I just remember the few times I've played, people forgetting. They're like, oh no, why did I put a die there? That's just going to screw up my entire board.
Easy to make a mistake.
Very easy to make a mistake.
The other thing I like about it is that it has a single player variant, which has slightly different rules. So on the tool cards, instead of using favor tokens, which are based on the difficulty of your window pane card, you will use the different die that you roll. So you'll have 4 die that you roll each turn, and then you will draft 2 into your window, and the other 2 you can use to spend on these tool cards to use their ability, and any die you don't use will be added up at the end to be the game's score that you're trying to beat. So a much different gameplay in the single player, but also very fun and enjoyable. Any cons? Anything you don't like?
The dice tray. The dice tray is amazing.
Yes.
Amazing dice tray.
So what we did not mention is that when you're playing the game, you roll 2 dice for every player plus 1 extra. So if Amanda and I were playing right now, I would roll 5 dice. And then I would draft 1. And then it would be her turn.
Me. I would draft
she
1.
She would draft 1, and then we'd go back in reverse order.
And then I get to draft another one. Put it here. Give back.
And then I take the last one, and then this one is just extra. So you're doing a lot of passing of dice.
Especially if you're playing with 4.
Yes, especially with 3 or 4 players. There's a lot of passing. It's harder to reach if you just dump them all in the middle. But this beautiful dice tray is only available in the Kickstarter.
Why they decided to do that? I mean,
Why?
Tack on a few extra bucks,
Why?
guys.
It's cardboard.
It's really pretty too.
It's really pretty.
And it's so useful. I mean, yeah, you could use like a plate or something.
And it adds value to the game.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
Yeah. Come on, Kickstarter exclusives, people.
Anything else? Other cons?
AP. If someone really is looking for that dice that it's just not rolling, they tend to freak out, I think, and just really overanalyze what their options are.
The analysis paralysis can really bog down a short puzzle game.
Yeah.
Should be 30 to 45 minutes.
It can take up to 60-ish with. It could go longer if you're with
somebody who overthinks every single drafting of every single dice.
Yeah. It's a fun light game. Let's keep it fun and light.
Yeah. The other thing I would consider a con is how luck-based it can be. Especially when you're playing with fewer than 4 people, when you don't use every single dice in the bag. It can really depend on the luck of which color die you draw, which numbers you happened to roll. Some of that is mitigated with the tool cards, but not completely.
Yeah.
It is,
With any dice game, I mean, it's... Yeah. But this game is just so dice dependent that if you keep getting unlucky rolls, then it's not good.
Yeah. The other thing is the gameplay and the theme are not really.
Yeah, you could be doing anything. You could be making cobblestone pavements or mosaic pottery. I mean, you could be really doing anything where you're placing different colors next to each other.
I love the theme.
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful, but
it's unique.
Yeah, it's not necessary for the gameplay. It doesn't really add to the strategy of placing your different die in the panes.
But it is pretty.
It's very pretty.
It's pretty. It's easy to teach. I mean, you could get your grandma to play this one, I think.
The other con I would say is the rule book is a little lacking. I would prefer it to be longer and have a better explanation for some of, especially the tool cards. They're not all especially easy to understand. And it would be nice if they had explanation, like a written out for all of the different tool cards.
Yeah, a little key or something.
Yeah.
Board Game Geekers, get on
that. Where would you play this? Where do you see it fitting in your collection? Would you add it to your collection? I'm waiting for a friend to get bored of this game so I can buy it from him because I really like this game. Yeah. And it's pretty cheap. It's like, what, $25 or something? So affordable. I mean, for the quality of components that you get. The quality is amazing.
Good replayability, I think. And it's really easy. We do a lot of events with new board gamers or, people who are a little less familiar with board games. So
newer to the hobby.
Yeah. So having something like this in your collection that you could bring you're not going to get bored of it because it's enjoyable and it's always different, and new players will also enjoy it. So.
I definitely need to own this game. I want a Kickstarter copy so I can have that dice tray.
We'll be fighting the same person for this game.
I'll keep an eye on the internet, see if I can snag one.
Yeah,
one way or the other. But I agree. I mean, I think this game is a great puzzle. The strategy is, pretty on par for a puzzle game, I would say. A lot of it is luck. I think it's easy to be bad at this game. You can make mistakes.
Yeah, you can make mistakes. If you're not thinking about if you're not looking at your entire
little window.
Window card, you're gonna mess up because you can't, the way you place things is you can't place, you can't place certain die in specific locations. Otherwise you will not be able to cover up that one of that color. So you really need to think long term in this game.
Especially the higher difficulty ones have a lot of restrictions on which die you can place in which pane. So it's easy to be bad. It's easy to make a mistake and make it so you can't place die, and then you have holes and then you lose points.
It could be a pretty mean game in that.
But I feel like it's harder to be good at it.
Yeah.
Because you can play a game without making any mistakes, have a completely full game board at the end, and still lose the game because you just didn't get what you needed rolled.
Yeah, I did forget about the gold cards during when I was playing a game. I had red, and all the red ones I took were like 1s and 2s. It wasn't, because you're so dependent on what dice are available. You're not really thinking about these. I don't know how necessary they are. It might be, you try playing a game without these, but I mean, it's extra points. But
yeah, I mean, that's the thing with the private objectives. I'm on the fence about them because it adds that little extra strategy as far as if you notice somebody taking a lot of high value of a certain color, you can kind of assume that they have that private objective and you can try to block them. However, it's just a lot of luck about what comes out. I played a game yesterday where I had won if you only counted the public objective cards. But when you looked at the private objective, my opponent got more than half of his points out of just the private objectives. He got 22 points just from that. If I added up every single pip of every single die in my color in that game, there were 12. So there was just absolutely no way that I could have competed with that.
It's usually, I feel like the times I play is not my strategy to go for that. Maybe it should be though.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. And a better player could have maybe overcome it, but it's new.
It's new. Yeah. We're still learning.
Yeah. There's a lot of luck. But yeah, definitely something
it's fun.
Good.
Check it out.
Super fun. I play it and I immediately want to play again.
Yeah.
It's one of those really addicting games.
It's like it's almost like Patchwork in that. Not quite as fun as Patchwork. Let's be real. But it's it might get there.
Well, I mean, in certain settings, Patchwork only plays 2.
That's true.
Sagrada plays 1 to 4. Super great game. Check it out. And if you like our video, make sure to check out our main video, the Chit Chat, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Bye.